Reno coming back at you for the episode you've all been waiting for. I know you've been on the edge of your seats, dying for this one to come out. But here it comes. Elderberry syrup, part 3. We're going to make the syrup today, and we're going to do a nice job of it for you. Hopefully I can create a decent video to show you the process. It's quite simple. Now, we picked all those elderberries, we cleaned them all up, we froze them and then got them off the stem and now in a nice concentrated form. And we're going to make elderberry syrup today. Now, yeah, you can make elderberry jam, elderberry wine, etc., but Mrs. Ranger is a certified master herbalist. That's right, she's got her master's degree in herbal medicine. And she loves elderberry syrup. Why? Because it has a lot of benefits. Hang on. I know all of you with those very young, sharp minds can remember everything. This old man needs a piece of paper every now and then to remember it all. But number one, it's going to boost your immune system. Hopefully it helps me speak more clearly too. You never know. It can fight and protect against bacterial infections. It can fight and protect against viral infections. It will reduce the duration and symptoms of colds and flus. Clears your sinuses and can work on sinus infections if you struggle with those. It's a natural diuretic, so it removes excess water from your system. It has anti-inflammatory properties, anti-carcinogenic properties, so essentially it's going to protect you from cancer. Very, very high antioxidant, high vitamin A, so it's really good for your skin. It improves your glucose levels. There are all sorts of benefits for diabetics with using the elderberry syrup as part of their regular regimen of nutrition. It can help with your blood pressure. I got a little issue with that. I got to work on it, and by golly, I'll take any help I can get. Overall cardiovascular health. Keep the old ticker talking, you know what I'm saying? Let's keep that thing running so we can catch some more fish. Set the hook and struggle with them fish on the other end of the line without keeling over from a heart attack, right? So my buddy Mark Pro, my buddy Blair of the Wild North of Netley, James Gang, Eric and Zach, you boys know what I'm talking about. You hook in that big old catfish, a big old greenback, a nice walleye. We want that ticker to fire up and get her going and carry us through to the next one. That's why we make the elderberry syrup. Not to mention the big bucks and stuff too. So keeps us moving around the outdoors. That's where it's all at, right? Living life large, full, and simple. So anyway, it's just good all the way around, man. It can even help your brain function. Lord knows I can use some help with the brain function. So I'm making elderberry syrup today. Let's get on with it. Okay, so the recipe is fairly simple. We're going to use essentially a 3-to-1 ratio water to elderberries. So I'm going to take my elderberries. This is what they look like after I've got them all cleaned up. After I took them through the de-stemming process and everything, I got a nice clean bag, 1-gallon bag of solid berries here. All right, so I'm going to take a full quart of these guys. And we'll measure that up quick. In the kitchen with Ranger Reno. Holy mackerel. Doesn't get any wilder than this. And guess what? My wife has lived through my cooking for a couple years now. So nobody's died. You're all right. Don't worry about it. So here we go. Nice quart of the berries. There we go. Now I'm going to get 3 of these with some water. We won't bore you with all this. Come on. That old well isn't what it used to be. He's working at it though. Okay, so I've got 1 quart of berries, 3 quarts of water. We're going to put it on the stove. We're going to get it simmering. Now, the other ingredients. Fire this up. There we go. Get it warmed up first. I don't want to go into like a rapid boil or anything. I just want a nice simmer for about 45 minutes. It'll pick up the flavor, essentially distill everything out of the berries that we're looking for, the polyphenols, which are super duper health elements, and the vitamin A and all those different things that are going to come into play is going to be brought through this simmering process. Now, elderberries are not overly sweet by themselves. They have a nice flavor, a rich flavor, but yeah, you want to make this enjoyable. So now there's other things that you can add to this, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to add a cup of freshly chopped ginger. Ginger's got a lot of good medicinal qualities in and of itself. Also a serious anti-inflammatory, and lots of good flavor, lots of good things there for you. I'll let you look up all those good things because you know they're there. Cloves. All right, so I'm going to add whole cloves into the mix here. We're going to add a tablespoon of these babies. These add some real good flavor, and again, they got a lot of good properties to them. There we go. Now you can do either whole or powder, doesn't matter. I think the whole brings on a different element of flavor and nutrition, perhaps. It doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to throw in 2 cinnamon sticks. Just good old cinnamon sticks here. I'll break them in half. Ouch. Babies are sharp when they break. Okay, watch out. Watch out. Like I said, this should hopefully improve my brain power. There we go. Get those in there. Now I'm going to get that simmering for about 45 minutes. So you can mess around, you know, clean your gun, check your traps, get them ready for tomorrow, whatever. You got about 45 minutes free time here. Tie a new leader on your pole, assort your jigs, whatever you need to do. But at the end of this, I'm going to add some honey to sweeten it up a little bit. But I don't want to add that when it's boiling and when it's hot, because I'm using raw honey. Now, raw honey also has a lot of serious benefits because of the elements of the raw pollen and everything being in the honey itself. If you boil it, you essentially pasteurize it and kill off the good bacteria that's in the honey. I want everything good coming out of all these ingredients to help me and my family as much as possible when we drink our syrup. How much syrup do you drink, you ask? Well, this will last in the refrigerator for about 2 months in an airtight container. So we'll just do, you know, a small, hang on, I'll show you. You know, small glass like this, maybe halfway, I don't know what that'd be, 3-4 ounces or whatever. We have it in the morning with breakfast. It's almost like a orange juice or something. Very tasty, very good, lots of benefits. It's a great way to start your day and simple thing to do. So I would say 3-4 ounces. I'll validate that for you in a way of actual ounces momentarily. But here we go. So we're going to heat that up, get that going, make our brew, add the honey after the fact, and then we'll put some in the jars and top it off. Now you can buy elderberry syrup pre-made. You can buy dried elderberries online and get them that way. As you know, I have them growing wild all around me, and we just make good of the provision and the bounty that exists everywhere around the ranch. There's plenty to be had. I mean, I had no shortage, and I don't think there's ever been a year where I have a shortage. The only thing with elderberries is they come due and ripe at a very quick pace, and generally you have to be well ahead of the birds, especially like cedar waxwings and stuff that'll just swoop in. Robins too love to eat them. Once they find them and they're ripe, you got some stiff competition, because those bad boys know how to devour elderberries quickly. And can you blame them? They got a long way to fly coming a week or two down the road here. So anyway, again, you can buy the elderberries just about anywhere, and you can buy the syrup pre-made. We like to make our own. I've got the freshest, best berries I can lay my hands on right here. Does it get any better than that? Is it any more simple? All right, I'm letting it simmer, and while that goes on, I'm going to talk to you about a couple other things. Like I said, raw honey. Raw honey. You want this unfiltered raw. You want the good properties of that unfiltered raw honey that has not been pasteurized. Again, that means it has not been brought over a certain temperature. I can't remember if it's 200 or whatever it was. But then also, I'm going to bottle it, right? So you got to clean your bottles well with a bottle brush and some soap or whatever. I always use hot water and then a little bit of white vinegar as well, rinsed in there to clean it out and get it ready for storage. Now, I do have large versions of a Grolsch bottle, but I can't find one right now, of course. But here's the small version of a Grolsch bottle. So here's a label on there that says elderberry syrup with the ingredients and everything. But if you're familiar with Grolsch, you know, you've got the cap and the cam lock to seal it nice and airtight for long-term storage. Now, if you don't have any of these Grolsch bottles, you can buy those online, or you can just go down and buy a 6-pack of Grolsch beer, empty the bottle, and then utilize it for storage in the long term. That's a really nice seal, a nice compact way to store it. Again, you want to refrigerate it when you're done. I don't want to can this and seal it in a jar in that way, because then if I do, again, I'm boiling the honey at the tail end and destroying all those properties that it brings to the, you know, the ingredients and to the final product. So it defeats the purpose. So we make it a batch at a time. This batch for me and Mrs. Ranger, I don't know, last us a couple good month or two anyway. I'll report back in on that later, but also, if you bottle it up in these small Grolsches like this, you can give one to Mark Pro or to Blair or to Eric or to James' gang, because it would help them live longer, be healthier, and you can fish and hunt with those guys even longer. What a win-win situation. So, you boys might know what's coming your way for Christmas if you aren't careful. Oh, Brian, didn't mean to forget you over there at Mix Retirement Adventures. You're close by as well. We could probably cross state lines with this and not get in trouble, but we'll get some coming your way too if I can make enough up in advance. All right, keep her going. Okay, we are definitely in simmer mode now, and you can see it's really fascinating. These berries are black like Indian ink when you put them in there, and that color is starting to fade out of the berries and into the syrup. So she's jet black down there, and that's what you want. So we'll reduce this a little bit over the roughly 45 minutes of simmer time, but it always fascinates me that you start with these jet black berries and now they're starting to fade that fast, and that means they're transferring their contents into the water. Now, when I get to the end of the 45 minutes, I will take these and strain them. I'll show you just a quick strainer you're going to have on hand, something like this. You know, to put that in there, and I want to press every ounce of juice out of them at the tail end of this before I put it in the bottles, because there's always some residual hiding inside each one of those little vessels, as you know, but they will pop and break open as it continues to simmer. Well, we continue to let the concoction simmer, and it smells marvelous, man. The aroma is just outstanding. It reminds you a lot of what you're going to taste when you drink the syrup for your good health benefits this winter, spring, summer, fall, whatever. I'm going to lean into it right as soon as it's done. But like I said, you got time while it simmers, and while it simmers, you can watch Wild North of Netley and see Blair catch some awesome greenbacks. You can watch Big Mitch and Off the Hook do the same thing as his partner many times on the lake. You can watch Mark Pro catch catfish the size of your arm. You could see Brian at Mix Retirement Adventures catching walleye after walleye up there in Minnesota. Or you could check out Eric and Zach's Outdoors and shoot a big buck. Or even harvest a doe for a little extra freezer meat, etc. You got options, man. You got good ways to spend your time while this is simmering. Give you an idea what I did. All right, back to it. Another quick pointer for you. Working with this stuff is like working with grape juice, even like wild grape juice. It's very powerful stuff, which is good, but it will stain. So when I decant and I make my move into the bottles, I'm going to do it over the sink or some sort of surface where I don't have to worry about staining. So be advised, very powerful things. You don't want to spill this all over your counter and then have to try to clean it up later. But that's where all those polyphenols are coming from and such. That dark, it's just like a seriously dark blueberry, you know, in a miniature format. So be advised, it will stain. Be careful. Okay, so we ran it through the strainer, got everything going here. Let it cool now. We don't want it too hot when we add that honey. We want it just warm enough to dissolve it. Now, I know you all are very astute and observant, so I'm going to mention it right away. You notice I'm missing a handle on my pot here. Yeah, it broke off a couple months back. I don't have a spot welder, so I was unable to fix it. Someday we'll invest in a new one, but for now, we're able to get by. We keep things simple around here. Okay, it's time to add the honey in. I'm taking the temperature right now just to make sure I'm below 140 degrees. 140 and above is not good to maintain the nutritional value of your raw honey. So I'm sitting here at about just shy of 120. There we go. And I'm gonna get that honey over here. Also wanted to mention that if indeed you want to make this more shelf stable, there are two ways to do that. One is to add brandy to it, and the other is to use apple cider vinegar if you want. Both would maintain or create a much longer shelf life for this. With the brandy, the alcohol would perform that function, and the vinegar, of course, the acidity would perform that function. You can see I'm extremely anal about the exact measurement of honey. I mean, by God, you know, you got to get this thing right down to the actual gram or milligram. No, I just kind of, I wing it. Look at the bottle, you know. I know there was about a good cup in here when I started, a little better. I don't want it overly sweet, but I do want it to have some nice flavor. And you can always sample along the way. No sense overdoing it with the honey. I mean, it's probably the most expensive ingredient in the process. So there we go. I'll quit scraping the bottom of the bowl for you. But we'll give her a little taste test here. There we go. Fantastic. Man, all those flavors come together so nicely. Delicious. All right, I'm ready to get into the bottle now. Okay, so I'm going to just dip off of here and slowly decant into my bottle so as not to spill. I've pre-washed the bottle, like I say, with hot water and some vinegar, soap water, all that good stuff, bottle brush, make sure it's good and clean. And here we go, voila. It's taking shape. I always like to shake it up a little bit before I drink it, just to get any of the sediment on the bottom, where you can have your cinnamon and clove and that kind of stuff hang out. That way you resuspend it when you go to drink it and get the full benefit of it all. And as you can guess, like I say, I just put the honey in there, so it's not overly hot at this point in time. I don't like to dump it in too hot. No need to reheat it or anything like that. She's running about 120 right now. I'll let this bottle cool and then stick it in the fridge. Medicine Woman will be home from work fairly soon, and she will be one happy camper to see the first bottle of elderberry syrup, or nectar if you want to, ambrosia, ready for consumption. She works in an environment that is highly conducive to catching things. We have viruses and such. A lot of people, a lot of activity. So there we go. Voila. I should have just enough to fill that Grolsch bottle as well. We'll be all set. Okay, my friends. There it is. Elderberry syrup. Here's to your health. Yeah, wow, that is fantastic. Hopefully it keeps me alive for another year to go fishing, hunting, trapping, and just enjoying outdoors to the max. Here's to you being healthy and being able to get out fishing, hunting, trapping, and enjoying outdoors to the max. I'm keeping life large, full, simple, with everything that's just given to me for free on the land out here. Ranger Reno, over and out.